How to play Wizard Arena. Each player gets their own 24-card spell deck, from which you can cast spells, and it also represents your life in the game. Drawing and casting spells drains your life force, but timely and strategic casting is the key to winning. On each spell card, you will find its name, the description of the effects, and the type of spell. You also get a 29-card power deck with numbers 1 through 6. There are some cards that will cause extra damage if you win the round, and optional modifier cards that can be used to alter your power level. Building up power and comparing power levels is how you deal damage to your opponent and win the round. A power level of 12 is the goal, and scores you a critical hit, and your opponent must immediately take 1 point of critical damage. But don't let your power go beyond 12 as it's an overcharge, and you will incur 4 damage. Let's start a match, and things will be better explained along the way. Take any shuffled deck, then take turns drawing a power card. Draw again if it's a modifier card. The player with the highest number goes first and gets to choose their magic faction from Fire, Ice, Feast, or Famine. Then going clockwise around the table, the other players pick their factions according to the seating positions. You have the highest number and choose the Fire faction. Shuffle and cut your cards, then place your power deck on your left and spell deck on your right. Discarded power cards go into your burn pile, and spell cards you play and damage you take are discarded into your crypt. In round 1, each player must draw 3 spells to form their hand. You can only draw spells at the beginning of a new round, and only have up to 3 cards in hand. You may cast any number of spells, and at any time, but only during your own turn. Each round begins in the power-up phase. These spell cards you drew will be more useful towards the end of the round, so you start the game by drawing a power card. It's a bonus damage card, which will add 1 extra point of damage if you win this round. You pass your turn, and your opponent draws a power card and then passes. You draw a +2 modifier, which is optional, so you have a power level of either 1 or 3. Keep the card raised up for now. You pass, and your opponent draws a 1 and passes. You draw a 6 and pass. Then they draw a 5 and pass. You cast a spell called Burn. Its effect allows you to draw a power card. Then you can either play it or discard it to deal 1 damage to your enemy. Put the spell card into your casting area, where it will remain until the end of this round. You then draw a 6, and you would overcharge if you played it, so you discard it, and your opponent is dealt 1 damage. Damage is taken by discarding cards off the top of your spell deck. You must draw at least 1 power card every turn, but spell effects that draw power cards will count towards this, so you pass. Your opponent's power level is 9. So they cast a spell called Storm, which allows them to draw a power card and play it, or discard it to either heal 2 or deal 1 critical damage. They draw a 1 and play it, then declare that they stand and turn their last card 45 degrees to signify it. They can no longer take any turns during the power-up phase, so you could just keep drawing power cards and casting spells without having to pass your turn. You cast an ultimate spell called Meteor Storm, which allows you to keep drawing and discarding power cards until you find a 1, 2, or 3, then deal that amount of damage, and draw again if it's a modifier card. You draw a 5 and discard it. Then you draw a 3, and you immediately deal 3 damage. You then apply your modifier card to have a power level of 12 and score a critical hit. Your opponent must take 1 point of critical damage, which can come from either a player's hand or their spell deck. Your opponent chooses to discard a spell from their hand. Then you fan out your cards to signify the critical hit, and stand. Ultimate spells are life-regenerating or self-healing, so it goes face down on the bottom of your spell deck. The power-up phase is over, and the final casting phase begins, where the turn order is the same, and since you were the last to go, your opponent decides to cast another storm spell and draws a 4, which would cause them to overcharge, so they choose to heal. When healing life, you count cards off the top of your crypt and put them face down on the bottom of your spell deck. Make sure that the last card healed is always the bottommost card of your spell deck. You decide not to cast any more spells, so the damage phase begins. You won the round with 12, and your opponent has 10, and takes 2 basic damage, plus an extra point of damage from your bonus card. The round is over, so you scoop up your power cards and place them onto your burn pile. Then place your cast spells onto your crypt. The last spell cast should be on top. You should now have a basic understanding of how the game works. Building up power, bonus damage, modifier cards, critical hits, spell casting, regenerating life, dealing damage, healing life, and ending a round. It's typical to run through all your power cards, so simply reshuffle, cut, then start drawing again. The match ends when a player's last spell card goes into the crypt. The remaining cards in each player's spell deck determine the final winner and ranking, or use them to keep track of the scores going into the next game. Time to step into the arena and begin your first match.